Hey guys, and welcome back to Z3 Cubing. Today is my 27th Q&A. So welcome to Q&A episode number 27. Now before we get started today, in my last Q&A video, somebody asked me if I could take apart a 3x3 in episode 26 and then put it together in episode 27. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. It was a disgusting 3x3 that I lubed with every type of lube that I had, and so this is really slimy and gross right now. Anyway, this is a series, a Q&A series, where I answer your guys' questions, so be sure and leave questions down in the comments below if you want to have them answered next time, and I'll try to get to as many of those as possible. Anyway, today I'm going to be answering as many questions on my last video as possible, as I almost have this 3x3 assembled, just a few more pieces left. Edge piece, corner piece, edge piece, and here we go. Let's try it out. Man, that turns just as great as it did in the last episode. That's disgusting. Can you disregard the person telling you to put the disgusting 3x3 back together and wait another episode? Well, seeing that your comment came after that guy's comment and I already put it together, no, I can't. And also, I was really looking forward to putting that back together because that has made my table kind of disgusting that whole time. First, that's not a question. First, that's also not a question, and also you're wrong. First, those aren't questions and you're wrong. First, like, view, and comment. You're wrong and that's not a question. First comment. Again, you're wrong, that's not a question. First. Not first. I mean, at least you're not wrong, but that's still not a question. Will you answer questions on your next Q&A? Well, you know, I've been trying to get around to it, but all these people saying first, oh man, there's another one, are kind of stopping me from doing that. How old were you at your first WCA event? So that was August 2014, it's now the end of 2019, which means it's been a whole 5 years since my first competition, which is kind of crazy, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, and that would have made me 12 years old at my first one. And kind of related to that, do you think I should go to a WCA competition if I'm averaging around 50 seconds on a 3x3? I've said this a million times, I'm going to say it again. If you are under the cutoff time, or the time limit time, whatever, for a competition, and you can solve the cube and you can get an official result, then you should go to the competition if you can go to the competition. If there's a competition near you and you don't know how to solve a cube, but you're still into cubing, you should still go. It's a lot of fun. Can you name all the things on your About page without looking at it? Well, let's see. First of all, I have the big spreadsheet with all my at-home PBs, all my mains for every event I do, all that sort of stuff. I also have my WCA profile. I have a bunch of different algorithms that I use for like OLL and PLL, as well as a lot of other methods and stuff like that. I have my custom shades in the cubicle. Let's see, I have all my social media links, and I also have a bunch of other information about like the camera, the microphone, all that sort of stuff for my setup that I use. This is my hint for you to go check the About page on my channel before you leave a question about something, because no matter how many times I say it, half the questions that people leave on these videos are already questions that I've answered on that page. Can you read this comment backwards? Backwards comment this read you can? What is pi times the number of cubes you have? Well, depending on how you count them, probably somewhere around 600. I guess if you put all of my cubes in a big long line and made a circle around it, it would be 600 cubes around. What is your favorite video that you have uploaded? You know, my main US Nationals video that I upload every year of just the entire competition are always one of my favorite videos. My one from 2019 right now is probably my favorite video that I've uploaded overall. So if you haven't seen that, be sure and check it out. It's a really awesome video. Can you solve your table? Well, it appears to me that this side is already solid white. This side is totally white too. So is this one and that one and that one. And the bottom is solid brown, so I think my table is already solved. What is your favorite cube that you don't have? Well, in terms of mass-produced puzzles, I really like the 17x17. When they announced that cube as well as the 19x19, I kind of just decided I'd wait for the 19x19 to come out and buy that one because it was a bigger one. But it's been years since the 17x17 and still no 19x19. Will you say the word that's number 5 in this sentence? No, I won't. In your opinion, what's the most entertaining WCA event to watch? Well, in terms of just raw turning speed and a person's knowledge about a cube making it entertaining, a 3x3 is always a good option just because it's so optimized. Same thing with like a 4x4, also very optimized and it lasts a little bit longer. But I think overall the most entertaining events have got to be the blindfolded ones, like a 3x3 blindfolded because it's a mix between speed and something really impressive. But also like a nice multi-blind attempt can be really cool too. What does PB stand for? I don't know. Let's go ahead and ask Google because that seems like a good idea to do when you don't know what something means. What does PB stand for? Search. PB means personal best. Wow, that was easy. If someone walked up to you and offered $100 to get a 3-cube multi-blind success, what do you think your percent chance of succeeding would be? That's actually a really interesting question. I'm not that great at multi-blind, especially right now. I'm kind of out of practice. If you gave me as much time as I needed, I could probably get up to like 70-80%. But if I was within the WCA time limits of 30 minutes, I'd probably be down at like 40%. Would you rather every cube have ball bearings or no cube have magnets? Now that's actually a really interesting question. For those of you who don't know, ball bearings were basically the magnets that came before magnets. It makes kind of a physical click in the pieces instead of just the attraction of magnets. And it mostly happened in old Pyraminxes and Scubes. And they were kind of annoying, but they made it a little bit better. I think if you executed them well in like a 3x3, you could make it work well. But overall, it would probably be annoying in most puzzles, and they probably wouldn't fit in a lot of them. Why is this question so big on your screen? Probably because you left a question about your question being big on a screen, and so I decided it might be funny if I made the question really big on my screen. You said that Pyraminx was the 5th easiest cube, then why does it take so much longer to solve than a 2x2? Well, if you actually think about it, like the dynamics of starting a timer and picking up a 2x2 and starting an algorithm really quick on it, you can do a lot more moves on a 2x2 really quickly than you can picking up a Pyraminx. It's kind of a lot more awkward, moving your hands around to all the different sides and the tips and everything. It's a really easy puzzle. It has fewer pieces than everything, but 2x2 is harder, but it's really, really optimized, and you can do all the algorithms really, really fast. Can you read this No. Do you have any sub 10 at-home singles on 3x3? Yes, I actually have 2 of them. I believe they both occurred a few days apart from each other in May of this year. I haven't really done a whole lot of 3x3 practice since then. The first one I believe was 9.95, and the second one was 9.68, which is still my PB. What is not your PB on 3x3? Well, I'm glad you asked because I just answered what is my PB on 3x3. My PB on 3x3 is not 27. How many times have you podiumed in Nats? Well, you have way too much faith in me. My best ranking in any round of any nationals competition ever was 36th place in FMC, which is actually really good compared to how I normally do at nationals. In total, I have gotten 11 podiums at cubing competitions, but never anywhere close at nationals. Also, have you ever been to Worlds? No, but I would like to go someday. What timer do you use? Well, if you're talking about an app on a phone, I use both KO Timer and 5 Timer, this app right here. They both work pretty well. In terms of a physical timer, I use a Generation 4 stack mat, which also works really nicely, and I can use it in conjunction with Prisma Timer or CS Timer on my computer. Do you know any magic tricks? If so, do one. Alright, so you see here, we got 3 rings, and then here we go. Now, they're connected. What is your PB on magic? Well, you see, I've never actually timed myself before just then, so my PB is 2.84 seconds. If you had to buy a cube made out of pure gold, what cube would it be? Well, if I have to buy this cube with my own money, I would go ahead and get the Mario Nano Cube. Like, this is pretty small. But if this cube is being bought for me, I'd definitely go with this one. What is the biggest cube you have solved blindfolded? Now, I'm assuming by the biggest cube you mean the cube with the most number of layers, in which case it would be a 4x4. But if you want the biggest cube that I've solved blindfolded, again, it would be this one. And if you want the smallest cube, again, it would be this one. Can you scramble all of your cubes and make a super awesome time-lapse of solving them all? Yes, that is actually something that I am going to be doing in the relatively near future. In a couple of months when I make my big end-of-the-year cube collection video for basically 2020, I am then going to be scrambling them all up and then making hopefully a really cool-looking time-lapse, clearer than anyone you've seen before, of solving every single one of them. Are you allowed to switch hands while doing one-handed? Well, no, you're definitely not allowed to switch hands in the middle of a one-handed solve. That would just give way too much of an advantage and be way too difficult for judges to enforce. But if you want to, there's nothing to stop you from choosing what hand that you want to solve the cube with while you're doing inspection. So if you look at the cube and you decide you want to do it with your right hand instead of your left hand, you're allowed to inspect with both hands, so you can choose which one you want to do at the beginning of a solve. Did it really take you a month to get your first sub? Yes, it did. 11 videos and 32 days. Is Vaseline okay for lubing a stickerless cube? Okay, so here's a piece of advice right here. If your cube costs more than $1 and it was made after, say, like 2010, don't put Vaseline in it. You'd be better off with no lube than with Vaseline. Why don't you reduce 4x4s into 2x2s as opposed to 3x3s? That's actually a pretty interesting question because it is totally possible to reduce a 4x4 into a 2x2 and solve it that way. But if you think about reducing it into a 3x3, basically what you're doing is you're taking all of the white centers, all these identical 4 pieces, and grouping them together. Same thing with the green centers and all the other color centers. And same thing with the edges too. You're taking all of these similar edges, all the centers that have both white and green on them, and putting them all together. Whereas if you were to reduce it into a 2x2, it would be a lot more complicated because you'd have to group up 3 different colors of pieces all together into a corner. So it's just a lot simpler and faster to reduce into a 3x3 because recognizing which pieces to go together is as simple as just looking at what pieces match. Can you juggle 3 balls? No. No, I can't. What will your next live stream be of, and when will that be? Well, I've considered doing like a huge live stream of just solving all my puzzles, but like I said earlier, I'd kind of rather do that in like an epic time-lapse format. There's a few other things that I could do on a live stream, like just solving one particular puzzle, like if I got like a 19 by 19 or something like that, I could just solve all that all at once while talking. And what I normally do on a live stream is just like solve some puzzles, race people, answer Q&A, all that sort of stuff. I will do more live streams in the future with more things planned out. I'll probably do one in the next couple months or so if you guys want it. But let me know what you want to see. Can you answer me first? No. And are Z and 3 your actual initials? Why, of course they are. My name is Zalex Throcker. What event world record single do you think has the most time to get better? That's actually a really good question, and to be honest, I don't know exactly. In the past, the events that started out at the highest times, like 5x5 Blindfolded, have obviously come down the most. But now that those events are like really, really optimized, I imagine they could still be improved quite a bit, but it's pretty much which one is the least optimized, even though they're all really, really optimized at this point, so I don't know, probably the ones that still have the highest time, like 7x7 and 5x5 Blindfolded. Your name should be Z prime cubing instead of Z3 cubing to reduce cube rotations. That is very true. I realize my mistake now. My name is inefficient. I guess I'll have to go change it to Z prime cubing. But wait, look at your name. It has 4 X's in it. X, 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 X. It would be more efficient to just remove all the X's and make it just that. Have you ever said legoboyz Z3 instead of Z3 cubing? Man, well, I'm just realizing that it should be legoboyz Z prime, shouldn't it? I'm really bad at this whole cube rotation thing. Anyway, yeah, I think maybe once or twice I have done the wrong intro. Oops. Say your intro and hey guys, this is legoboyz Z3 and your old intro. Alright, so I've had 3 main intros and 3 main things that I say before my videos. There's, hey guys, and welcome back to Z3 Cubing, and today is my 27th Q&A. Before that, it was, hey guys, it's legoboyz Z3, and today is my 27th Q&A. And finally, at the very beginning, it was, hello everybody, legoboyz Z3 here, and today is my 27th Q&A. Does a 20x20 exist? So right now they've mass-produced every puzzle from a 1x1 all the way up to a 15x15. I think the 14x14 might still be a work in progress, but they're going to release it soon. They've also mass-produced a 17x17, and they've announced a 19x19, which haven't been released yet, but I assume there's prototypes of it. There's also been 3D printed 22x22s and 33x33s, and I believe that's all the n-by-n puzzles that have been made, so no 20x20. Do you exist? I think so. Usually. What is your favorite lube? Now, I feel like I've probably said this before, but I feel like my favorite lube is just straight up Lubical Silk. It seems kind of crazy because there have been so many other lubes that have come out since this one, but it just makes your cube a little bit faster, a little bit smoother, just pretty much everything you would ever want for any cube ever. It just works so perfectly in all of them, and you just put it in, it gets better. Do a 3x3 average right now and show us the result. Alright, so I got my 3x3 right here. I got my timer with official scrambles right here. I'm gonna do an average of 5. I gotta warn you though, I am very out of practice. I haven't solved one of these in like a week. Haven't practiced for a long time. Alright, 18.59, that was pretty slow. 15.52, that was a stupidly lucky solve, but I still messed up. 14.42, that's a little bit better. 18.19, eh. And I'm not even going to tell you that one. It was not sub 20. My average was 17.43, which is not terrible considering I haven't practiced for a long time, but that didn't go so great. Have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube before? You know what? I can't say that I ever have. Maybe I should get around to learning how to solve one of these days. Do you think clocks should be removed from the WCA? I mean, should it be removed? Probably. Do I want it to be removed? Not necessarily. I don't think it belongs in the WCA, but it's kind of unfortunate to remove an event like they did with feet. I don't know. Drink the nearest thing to you. Go. Okay, Rubik's Cube. You can't really drink that. Let's see. Lubical Silk. I'm skipping that. Water. Yes. Do you think that Master Pyraminx and 8x8 will be added to the WCA soon? 8x8 will definitely never be added to the WCA just because it's such a big cube, it takes so long, it would be so difficult to organize. There are people who are against even 6x6 and 7x7 being in the WCA. I think even Felix Zemdegs has publicly said that he doesn't like 6x6 and 7x7 as events. Master Pyraminx, on the other hand, would actually be an interesting WCA event. I believe I have supported that. It seems like an interesting puzzle that would work well with the current rule set, and yeah, it would just be nice to have. How wide the where do? Yes. Wait, no, wait a minute. Actually, no. Yeah, no. When was the last time you updated your calendar cube? Well, I got it off the shelf and looked at it, and it looks like the date on here is Tuesday, July 3rd. I looked that up. The last time Tuesday, July 3rd happened was 2018, so a little over a year behind, but we're doing alright. If a blind person wanted to compete at a WCA event, would they compete against people who can see or as a blind solver? Obviously, there's not enough blind people at WCA competitions to have a whole category for it. There's no designation or anything on the website. But you could obviously compare yourself with other blind people if you knew who they were. It would be kind of interesting though. How would you do a blind event if you were blind? Could you get like 2 different cubes that were scrambled the same? One of them that had texture on it and one of them that didn't, and memorize it and do it on the other cube? That would be interesting. Are you going to quit cubing when you go to college? That's actually a pretty good question because I am going to be going to college next school year, and that'll make it a lot harder to make videos. And I know certain other YouTubers in the past have also stopped making videos when they went to college. So yeah, that's a good question, but no, I'm not going to stop. I might slow down the regularity a little bit. I've been doing once every week for a really long time now. I might stop that down to every 2 weeks or so. Definitely never more than a month, but yeah, I'm definitely not planning on quitting for the next 4 or 5 years or so. When is your Q&A number 28? Come on, I'm just finishing number 27. You're already asking about number 28? I don't know when that's coming out. Does it hurt when you fall off the screen and into the unknown void under the table at the end of your videos? I'm genuinely concerned. I mean, yeah, it does hurt a little bit. Don't worry, it's not that bad. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Be sure and leave your questions down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.